আপনার প্রিয় তারকার লেটেস্ট আপডেট জানতে সাবস্ক্রাইব করুন আমাদের চ্যানেল আর বেল বাটন ক্লিক করতে ভুলবেন না।
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and a warm welcome tonight, of course. At any CMA function, there's so much of closeness, so much of entrepreneurship, and of course in this gathering today, on behalf of the Calcutta Management Association, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all on the 4th Calcutta Management Association Excellence in Management Award, presented by Life Insurance Corporation in association with the Telegraph and Sterling Reserve Music CDs, and of course radio partner 91.9 Friends FM, hospitality partner HHI, and cable TV partner City Cable. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this evening is very, very special, as goes all the amazing CMA Excellence Awards. This evening we have 8 categories: Corporate Leadership Award, Business Leadership Award, Innovation Excellence Award, Emerging Leader Award, Public Service Award, Leadership and Institutional Excellence Award, Lifetime Achievement Award, and of course, inducting into the Management Hall of Fame. As every occasion of CMA, we are proud to actually put forward a small little video where you will actually get to see the history of Calcutta Management Association. And ladies and gentlemen, we are so proud because one of the oldest management associations in the country is CMA. And as they say, everything starts from Calcutta, and goes across the country. So we are very proud to share with you that. So we have a small film on the Calcutta Management Association, ladies and gentlemen. We request you all to check what's coming up next. Thank you.
"1958 marked the beginning of an idea to bring about how one views and understands management and its potential for meaningful interaction. This led to the birth of Calcutta Management Association, or CMA, with Sir Jahangir Gandhi, the then Director General of Tata Iron and Steel Company Limited, as the founder president. CMA today is a vibrant organization, as vibrant as the city it is located in. Affiliated to All India Management Association, or IMA, the apex management body in the country, CMA today has a membership base of over 1,000, including nearly 100 corporates. True to its mission and vision to create a platform for the management community where contemporary management ideas can be conceptualized, formulated, developed, and practiced, CMA over the years has organized a series of path-breaking meets, workshops, seminars, talks, interactive sessions, and exchange programs. We at CMA have taken on the onus of covering a wide area from management education to management practice, with the objective of fostering and developing excellence in management, all to help profit the mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, such a proud moment, always. And once again, on behalf of CMA, would like to welcome all our distinguished guests, members of CMA, and our good friends. Well, the time has come to start this evening's main proceedings, the CMA Excellence in Management Awards. But before we get into the awards, I would like to call upon our very own President of the Calcutta Management Association, Mr. Ashok Kumar Banerjee, to kindly say a couple of words on this amazing occasion. Sir.
It's indeed a very proud moment for the Calcutta Management Association, one of the oldest management associations in the country. And I represent both IMA, All India Management Association, as a council member, and CMA, as you have just heard from Mr. Tangri, I'm the president. But so a big good evening to all of you esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, and all my committee members. I would love to, he told me a few words, so being a teacher, I shall be going to few points. Number one, we have been doing this Management Excellence Awards program. We get tremendous support from our sponsors. You'll be hearing the names later on, and the names are all there. This is the fourth year. We started in 2015, and this year is the fourth year. So thank you all of you, because you make it to happen. With a city as Calcutta, now Kolkata, there are still talents, and we are going to recognize some of those talents in the respective fields of excellence. They are all leaders. We are going to make ourselves privileged. We are going to make ourselves proud when you honor a legend, a person who has made great in his or her field of activity. That's the most important point of CMA. Mr. Tangri just said, profit the mind. That's the key point of CMA. We try to help this thing. A few points, because Calcutta Management Association is the oldest you have heard, and Calcutta has passed through lots of ups and downs. I'm sure these leaders will be awarded their prizes or recognition this evening, will be adding more value to the overall growth of the city. A few statistics. If India is today the third largest economy in terms of purchasing power parity, 9.4 USD trillion, we still remember there is a one China, 23 trillion USD, and one USA, 18.8 USD trillion. So we have got a big way to go. We have got still one India and one Hindustan. So I'm sure these leaders of today will give us the roadmap on how to cover those gaps. Because I believe unless there is rapid, inclusive, overall growth, no country, no state, no city can grow. Point number two. Point number three, CMA, yes, this year is the 68th year of Calcutta Management Association. We have taken the management activities beyond the city of Calcutta. We have taken the CMA activities to far-flung places like Siliguri, Malda, taken to Haldia, Kharagpur, and just recently we've been to Purulia, Chas, Bokaro. So CMA is spreading its this thing because we believe we must help the overall management fraternity. We have no agenda, only agenda is profit the mind. So I'm sure in the years to come, your committee will be taken forward, but nothing is complete if I do not thank the wonderful work done by the secretary led by Mr. Borua. So, ladies and gentlemen, a big hand to my executive committee members and Mr. Borua, please, and the executive committee, all the members of the secretariat, because without their help, this program would not have been possible. So, I'm sure we'll have a wonderful time ahead. Please enjoy, and please pick up the threads from the speeches, from the dialogues, from the interactions of the great minds, and let us really live up to the extent profit thy mind. Let us all have a wonderful evening. Let us all pick up good threads. And I must thank once again all of you to make it possible to go. And nothing is complete if I do not thank the award winners. Let us join all the award winners. Thank you very much, all the award winners. And to the person who is going to Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame, the lady has just come. I have just been downstairs to receive her. This is a third award that we are giving this year. We had in the past given two. So you'll be hearing more from her. I don't want to stand between you and Mr. Tangri. So over to Mr. Tangri. Thank you very much. Enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Banerjee. It's really a pleasure to have you on stage and speaking your heart out. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, welcome once again to the Excellence in Management Awards of CMA, presented by the Life Insurance Corporation of India. And a big thank you to them because they made it possible to make it bigger, better, and more warm and close. And I'd like to take this opportunity to call an amazing gentleman on stage, Mr. A.K. Sharma, Regional Manager, Marketing and Zonal Manager, Eastern Zone, Life Insurance Corporation of India, on this wonderful occasion to say a couple of words. Sir.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I first of all congratulate Calcutta Management Association and the Telegraph for initiating this kind of platform to felicitate and honor the thought leaders from West Bengal. LIC is really proud to be associated and part of this platform where the leaders from different businesses will be honored in this particular forum. Friends, LIC, even after opening of insurance sector for more than 17 years now, continues its dominance with the market share of more than 70% in first premium income and more than 74% in number of policies. And you'll be curious to know that in first half yearly of the current fiscal, LIC has added 1.5 lakh crore of assets. And there will be a few organizations in the entire country who has market cap of 1.5 lakh crore. And the Eastern Zone particularly, which is headquartered in Calcutta, has always played a very significant role in the growth of LIC. It has shown a consistent growth in the share to the corporation. And now today, Eastern Zone is being regarded not as Eastern Zone, but excellent zone. So this is the proud moment for all people from West Bengal. And you will be happy to know that in just 2 years, the first premium income has gone from 319 crore to today more than 6,600 crore. And we are expected to clock 7,200 crore when this fiscal ends, clocking a phenomenal growth rate of more than 44% annualized growth within these 2 years. So this is a kind of achievement of LIC, and I think I use this platform to thank the people of West Bengal and 9 eastern states which comprises of this eastern zone, including Andaman and Nicobar. Friends, Calcutta and particularly West Bengal, which is regarded as the intellectual capital of India. And one more interesting name is added to West Bengal, that is, it is a sweet capital. And sweet capital or sweet state is now in the sweet spot also. I think gone are the days, the yesterday's leaders may become leaders, and we have seen witness every day, day in and out. Yesterday leaders are fast becoming laggards. And the very successful organizations which once boast of their strength because of their culture, that has become basically the reason for their downfall. Today we are seeing that new leaders are emerging every day because of their out-of-box thinking. I think such initiative which the CMA has taken will provide an incubator, and West Bengal will which is nowadays is regarded as best Bengal. And I'm sure that new leaders will be emerging through such initiatives. And I congratulate all the awardees which will be awarded today, which will be honored today later on. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. We have amazing people out here, powerful, full of energy, Wonder Women. You know, it reminds me of something which is so powerful today that we are going to witness amazing people coming forward, amazing people coming up on stage. And these amazing people are going to be saluted for their contribution to society, contribution to business, contribution to make a difference in people's lives, ladies and gentlemen. We are kicking off tonight, that's the way I generally say it, with the Corporate Leadership Awards, ladies and gentlemen. And I'd like to call on stage to give out the awards Mr. N.N. Faramji and Mr. J.N. Mukhopadhyay. Mr. Faramji and Mr. Mukhopadhyay, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure. Amazing gentlemen, because CMA has a part of amazing stalwarts and people who focus and hit out hard. Well, the power behind the power lighting homes and empowering our lives. We never get to hear these days, oh no, there's again a load shedding. Do we? I don't think so. An electrical engineer from Jadavpur University, Kolkata. He has also done an advanced management course from IIM Calcutta. And he has been with CESC from the beginning of his professional career in 1984. He was the executive director distribution before being designated as the managing director. He is known for his domain expertise, hard work, people's orientation, and credibility. Not only was he responsible for operational management of electricity distribution system in the twin cities of Kolkata and Howrah, he actually spread it across. He also supervised loss reduction initiatives in transmission and distribution. He has also taken CESC's customer service to the next level by introducing a range of customer-focused initiatives. Trust me, I use it. You know, the app is so useful, sir. It actually gets us in easy communication with CSC. Even if you have to pay the bills or put in a complaint, it works in a jiffy. Thank you so much. Well, an extremely shy person who lights up the city but does not come into the spotlight himself. Ladies and gentlemen, CMA is proud to honor the Managing Director of CESC Limited, Mr. Aniruddha Basu, with the Corporate Leadership Award. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand. Sir, congratulations. And you've got an amazing smile, but I've been told you're a very shy person, but you light up so many people's life. What is that mantra of yours which lights up so many lives?
It is all because of a beautiful team, and thank you so very much. I am deeply humbled and honored to have been selected for this, and I dedicate it to my team, and I take it as a token of recognition to our members' hard work, dedication, and above all their passion. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on stage. Thank you, Mr. Faramji. Thank you, Mr. Mukhopadhyay. Such an humble person with an amazing smile. You know, when he smiles, I think he's lit up the entire hall out here, looking very jovial. And I think, thank you, sir, for joining us on stage. And we go on once again to the Corporate Leadership Awards and the next gentleman. But before we go on with the award, I'd like to call on Mr. Anil Garg and Mr. M.K. Kemu, Pension and Group Scheme, Eastern Region for Life Insurance Corporation of India, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on stage. Well, you know, just in case power goes off, what comes next? Batteries. We're all aware of that, no? Well, commuting in our cars would not have been as easy and as comfortable as it is today if it was not for this gentleman and his company. India moves on Exide. We all know that. Exide moves on his leadership and decisions. He passed out from NIT Durgapur in 1970 as a gold medalist in mechanical engineering. He proceeded immediately after that to IIM Ahmedabad to do his PGDBA in 1972. He joined Exide Industries Limited in 1982. Subsequently, he became the SBU head for industrial and automotive divisions. He has held the position of executive director in the board for more than 22 years and is the MD and CEO since 2016. He is also a member of the National Council of CII. Ladies and gentlemen, CMA is proud to honor the Managing Director and CEO of Exide Industries, Mr. Gautam Chatterjee, with the Corporate Leadership Award. Mr. Gautam Chatterjee, sir. Sir, congratulations. When I got my first motorcycle, that's donkeys years ago, it had an Excite battery. When I got my first car, it had an Excite battery. When I got my first SUV, it had an Excite battery. Tell me, what is the magic you guys do that you actually move India on Excite? We really would love to know that.
We are a 72-year-old company. We started from this place in Shamnagar in 1946. And for 72 years, we have been a market leader. And for 72 years, we have made profits every year. It will be very difficult to find a single company across the world who has been able to sustain its leadership and profitability over so many years. There is something in the DNA of the company which, even after so many years, 7 out of 10 cars which come out of the factories still have Excite batteries. All the best of global MNCs and everything has come, but we still maintain the leadership. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, sirs. Thank you so much for joining us on stage, sirs. Thank you so much. Pleasure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I know in business and in entrepreneurship, we all are very serious, you know. We all keep quiet and we all try to be a little stern and, you know, have that upper lip. But, you know, I'm sure when the awardees, you know, getting the awards, I want to see an Eden Garden kinds of sound here, like Sachin Tendulkar hitting a 6. And I'm sure we have that energy and power here, energy and power, you know, a lot of it. Well, our next category of awards, ladies and gentlemen, is the Business Leadership Awards. And I'd like to call on Mr. Ashok Banerjee and Mr. R.C. Bhattacharya to kindly come on stage, sir. Thank you so much. Our very own president, our very own executive committee, amazing people, you know, a guiding light, and they are absolutely into educating us. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Well, this evening seems to be following a script. From powering you up, to charging you up, and now to energizing you up. Well, more than 50% of India's power generation capacity is served by a product of this man's organization. It is truly a global company with diversified interests in wind energy, real estate, forestry, and flexible packaging. The company has made significant contribution to industries around the world, driving production, enhancing capacities, and overcoming challenges. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Paharpur Cooling Towers leads the cooling tower industry. And these guys are truly, truly amazing, I must say. You know, this is one name, I think as I was born, it lived with me. You know, that's the way it works. He has done the Bachelor of Mechanical Engineering from Jadavpur University, Kolkata in 1978. And his choice of management education was between IIM Ahmedabad and, of course, IIM Calcutta. And he had a choice of Harvard's Business School. And he chose, of course, his Master of Business Administration from Harvard's. After all the opportunities, the business university right there in the US away in 1980. And 30 years on, his daughter followed his footsteps and joined Harvard. Because according to him, Harvard is still the best, quote unquote. He serves as a managing director of Paharpur Cooling Towers Limited. He served as the president of the Indian Chamber of Commerce, Kolkata. Ladies and gentlemen, CMA is proud to honor the managing director of Paharpur Cooling Towers, Mr. Gaurav Swaroop, with the Business Leadership Award. So congratulations. you're an amazing, cool person. I must say that. You know, and the fascination, it even goes on your daughter, because you always say Harvard was the best and they can't be better than that. So tell me, so across the years, how you've ensured that this company has been ruling where it stands? There must be some mantra, some business mantra, some secret. Either you've learnt it there, or it's your own innovation which has made it happen, sir.
There's no substitute for hard work, focus, and just get on with the job. You know, that's it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Truly wonderful. Thank you so much, sir, and congratulations. Thank you, sirs, for joining us on stage. Pleasure. Thank you so much. You know what? You folks are real quiet, but I can promise you one thing. We're going to have a huge injection, and we're going to inject you with laughter after some time. When I get to that later, you'll understand where I'm coming from. And I'm not going to disclose it right now, but you're going to love what you're going to hear next after this award. And I'm sure you will be splits into laughter. Many of you may fall off your seats, because, you know, they say the corporate world is a little serious. So today we're going to see that corporate world getting into a little laughter and a good amount of dose of humor coming up after this next category, of course. But right now we're still at the Business Leadership Awards. And I'd like to call on Mr. Sumit Ray and Mr. Buddhadev Datta, Cluster Head of West Bengal Allied Blenders and Distilleries Private Limited. Thank you so much for joining us on stage. Pleasure. Now, this gentleman is after my heart. If sound makes you groove, this gentleman will take you on an audio high. According to me, he's truly a rock star in his own right. Well, 45 years ago, a young engineer fresh out of IIT Roorkee did something that was quite out of the ordinary. He gave up a lucrative career to start his own company. His passion to create led him to design high-fidelity amplifiers, speakers, and turntables that would make his company Sonodyne a household name. And can I tell you, and I'm so proud, my first ever audio system when I was in class 7, I still remember, was a Sonodyne amplifier and Sonodyne speakers. And you guys are going to laugh, but it's true. It's still working and still existing, and it's still doing an amazing job. Minor tweaks, sir, minor tweaks. And 45 years on, the passion remains intact. Sonodyne has 2 R&D labs and 3 manufacturing facilities in Kolkata and Mumbai, with offerings in both residential and professional audio. But let me tell you, these guys are so good. They make us proud. We have a Bose sitting in the US of A, and we have a Sonodyne, which is run by this amazing gentleman who's exporting also out of the country, and the goods are in a big demand, and trust me, on par or better than any international product. Well, Sonodyne remains a leading brand in India with exports to all major nations. He lives, talks, eats, walks audio. And given my profession, of course, as I said, he's a man close to my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, CMA is proud to honor the Managing Director of Sonodyne Corporation, Mr. A.K. Mukherjee, with the Business Leadership Award. Mr. Mukherjee, I want to give you a tight hug, seriously. When I started DJing, his system, Sonodyne brand, I used for the first time. When I even DJed at the Calcutta club, when I'm talking about late 80s, 90s, early 90s, the system which we DJed on, the sound coming out was Sonodyne. Sir, what is that mantra? So many years, you've withstood all competition, the best of brands internationally, and still you stand strong and stronger not only, you know, selling in the country, most of your products, I think 90% of them go out of the country to other nations. So just let us know, how does this happen?
Well, this is the most difficult part. I can receive this, but talking something about myself is very difficult. But yes, most of you have covered most of it. But yes, audio is my passion. You know, right from my days in university, I used to spend a lot of time in doing this naughty work in the Roorkee, and they were professors were all after me, that why don't you study and what you do. But nevertheless, God was great, gave me opportunity to start my business of my passion. And more than 45 years, it is still with this passion, and it's only innovation and through R&D, continuous R&D, with a group of crazy engineers we have. And of course, now all credit goes to my son, Anindo, who is also here. So, so I'm sure that the tradition will continue, and we will continue to grow, and thank you.
Sir, it's wonderful. You've truly lived music, you've built audio, and congratulations once again. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Our next category of awards, ladies and gentlemen, is Innovation Excellence Awards. And for that, I'd like to call on stage Siddhartha Roy and Vibhar Tandon. We'd like you to join us on stage, please. Both amazing gentlemen, one in the ad field, one in the equity field. And you guys make wonders. Well, ladies and gentlemen, next up is a very interesting personality. The world sits up and takes notice when a bureaucrat decides to walk the talk and to do justice to a mission called life. This gentleman is a distinguished IAS officer, has served as secretary to the Honorable Chief Minister of Tripura. He served the government in various positions in the area of information technology, vigilance, personnel and training, and various other departments. In his illustrated career, he is also the founder of Shrey Sahaj E-Village Limited, a pan-India rural ICT venture for the Shrey Group. His involvement in the healthcare sector spans over 20 years. Under his stewardship, Global Healthcare has set up and is operating 11 integrated super speciality hospitals in the states of Bihar, UP, Orissa, and West Bengal. More such fully equipped hospitals are being constructed, especially to serve the unserved areas of the country. An amazing effort. A man with a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, CMA is proud to honor Dr. Sabhat S. Azim, MD and CEO, Global Healthcare Systems Private Limited, with the Innovation Excellence Award, ladies and gentlemen. Sir, congratulations. You know, when I first saw you, I honestly felt you're the tough man no one messes with. But you are a man making all the difference across, helping so many people to make a difference in their lives, getting treated across. Now, what is the mantra of that success? When did that fire light up? Something must have made you do what you did.
Thank you so much. First of all, I want to thank Calcutta Management Association, the city of Calcutta, for this honor and privilege. So, I'm not a Bengali, I'm not a businessman, I'm not a management graduate. I'm a naturalized Bengali, now having been here for 12 years. A naturalized businessman. One small correction, I'll say that hospitals we have, and we have another 7 coming up, but our real work is in actually the technology to make healthcare possible. We have 250 clinics which are based on Internet of Healthcare, Internet of Things, and hopefully this year it should go to US, Australia, Nigeria, Bangladesh. So what we were trying to do all these years was how to solve healthcare when expenditure in healthcare is very low. And I would not take too much time. I would credit this award and dedicate it to the team members of Glocal, the 1,700 people across the rural and the difficult parts of this country who are setting up, running amazing things, amazing technologies. Thank you so much. What moves us only is to create what has not been created before. And our dream has always been not to copy anything which has been produced before, but to create something which was not there before. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us on stage. Been really, really nice. A leader is always a leader, ladies and gentlemen. And when he or she emerges, a lot of striking happens, of course. Well, the next category of awards is the Emerging Leader Award. And for that, I'd like to call on Mrs. Madhumita Basu and Mr. Dilip Kumar Jaiswal, Chairman and Managing Director of HHI Group of Hotels. I'm going to ask you all a simple question. I believe many of us sitting in this room would aspire to be an MD of a company. Some of us, of course. Some would make it in 5 years, some in 10 years, and some may take a little longer. We've all gone through that process, many of us. There is someone here today who has traveled this journey in just 1 year. Amazing. He joined the company in April 2004, and within a span of 1 year, he was handed over the baton to run the company as the managing director. And let me tell you, he's an amazing gentleman. A first-class degree holder in mechanical engineering from the University College of London, and also a degree in business finance from the prestigious London School of Economics. He has been appointed the chairman of the North East Council of CII in May 2017. He is the co-chairman of FICCI West Bengal State Council and also a member of the National Council of CII. And trust me, he's a guy who knows his fitness funder as well as his coffee. Ladies and gentlemen, CMA is proud to honor the CMD of Calcutta Agro Limited, Mr. Mayank Jalan, with the Emerging Leader Award. Hi man, congratulations. It's truly amazing meeting you so often, but you truly rock. Tell me, what's your ultimate dream in life?
Well, that's, let that be under wraps for a time being. Okay. You know, so, but first of all, obviously, like, you know, I'm really, really humbled. I don't think I really deserve this, but I just accept this on behalf of my team and colleagues back at Calcutta. It's, you know, really their hard work and their passion, you know, which has even made us, you know, stand up amongst a crowd and, you know, get accolades or such prestigious awards. Also, situations like this kind of reminds me of Nelson Mandela, you know, when he said, after climbing a great hill, one only realizes the number of more hills that are yet to climb. So, you know, emerging leader means that we haven't emerged yet. There are a lot more hills for me and my team back at Calcutta for us to climb. It's been an interesting journey over the last 14 years. Took over a very small part of my father's company and made that into the flagship over the last 14 years. Next 14 years is going to be even more challenging. Hope I can get there with all your blessings and best wishes. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, ma'am, for joining us on stage. Really, really amazing. And congratulations, Mayank. It's a truly deserved award because he and his team have been doing exceptional work out there, trust me. Ladies and gentlemen, our next category, Public Service Award. This comes out direct, they'll say, truly from the heart. And for that, I would like to call on Mr. Anirudh Lahiri, Sir Sudhir Chand, and Mr. Vinay Kumar Jaiswal, Director Operations, the HHI Group of Hotels. How many of us would like to be a lone ranger? It takes a lot of willpower, ladies and gentlemen, and passion to venture out into the unknown. Only few individuals can do that, and we are very lucky to have someone with us tonight who has done just that and made a lot of difference. In 1974, there were no schools for children with cerebral palsy and special needs in eastern India. She set up the first school, then known as West Bengal Spastic Society, WBSS, in Calcutta. She had the staunch support of her husband and their own son, Arjun, who was diagnosed as a child with CP with multiple disabilities. This organization has grown from a small school to a major training institute in India. IICP, as it is now called, won the national award from the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India, for the best disability NGO. She has a PhD in Augmentative and Alternative Communication, AAC, from Manchester Metropolitan University. In April 2010, she received the Padma Shri Award from the President of India. She truly is an inspiration to all of us. All I can say is she's truly amazing, ladies and gentlemen. And CMA is proud to honor Dr. Sudha Kaul, the founder, trustee, and vice chairperson of the Indian Institute of Cerebral Palsy, IICP, Kolkata, with the Public Service Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand. A lady truly, not just with a golden heart, I would say a diamond heart. Ma'am, you've made such a difference. You know, I just want to give you a small hug because I truly am moved with what you've done, what you're doing, and what you're carrying on doing. Tell me, ma'am, in these years, where you made so much of a difference, any memory which always makes you kind of move forward and forward with all that spirit, something within you, if you would like to share with us.
Well, firstly, I'd like to accept this on behalf of my entire team at IICP. And memory, it's the smile in the eyes of the children that we work with. It's the spirit of the staff who really believe that all children and adults with cerebral palsy or any other disability do deserve a right to education and life. So I think it's the people I work with, really. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sirs, for joining us on stage. It's really, really appreciated. Thank you so much. Once again, I would like to say, an amazing lady from the heart. And trust me, she makes a difference to not just hundreds, thousands and thousands of children out there, thousands and thousands of families out there. Because when the children are taken care of, the families feel so happy because there are things they could not handle themselves. And she does it for them. Her team does it for them. And hats off, ma'am. Seriously, salute to you. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, our next category of awards is Leadership in Institutional Excellence. And I would like to call on Mr. TVS Shenoy, Mr. Somesh Dasgupta, and Mr. Alokesh Banerjee. Request you to kindly join us on stage. Leadership in Institutional Excellence, ladies and gentlemen. We all have been to schools and colleges, taken our lessons and degrees. But this gentleman has a unique trait. He has either been a member of the faculty or the director of the institute he has been a student at. Amazing. Born on the 26th of February 1954, obtained his bachelor degree from the Bengal Engineering College, Shivpur, followed by M.Tech and PhD from Electronics and Electrical Communication Engineering Department of IIT Kharagpur. He joined IIT Kharagpur as a faculty member in 1980. He is the first director of the Indian Institute of Engineering Science and Technology, that's IIEST Shivpur. He has been awarded Padma Shri by the Government of India. An erudite man who is equally a good administrator. Ladies and gentlemen, CMA is proud to actually confer on Professor Ajay Kumar Ray, Director of IIEST Shivpur, with the award Leadership in Institutional Excellence. Sir. Sir, congratulations. And I know a lot of us are seniors out here, but what is the mantra of education to you?
You know, 67 years back, in 1951, on the birthday of the IIT system in India, that is IIT Kharagpur, on 18th of August 1951, and it was being inaugurated by one gentleman, Mr. Nolini Ranjan Sarkar, who is again the pioneers in the area of finance and insurance in India in the pre-independence days. So N.R. Sarkar was the father of IT system in India. And what he said in that inaugural program, in fact it was even much before I was born, but then he said that the institution that we are going to build today at Kharagpur, it should not be built only over bricks and mortars, roads and buildings. It should be able to generate a tradition, and that tradition should be a culture of innovation. That means the whole idea of any university should be to create innovative minds. And that's what all the time the directors at various good institutions all over the world, they have tried. And I would like to dedicate this honor that you are giving today from CMA to all my colleagues across the country who have given their whole life in generating and refining that tradition of innovation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's really a pleasure. Congratulations once again. Thank you, sirs, for joining us on stage. Really appreciate it. Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, now we come to a category which is across years. Yes, the Lifetime Achievement Award. And to give out this award, I'd like to call on Mr. Gautam Ray and Dhruva Mukherjee, past presidents of this amazing organization and still a pillar of support. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he is a reputed industrialist with vast experience, known as the turnaround expert, who has successfully taken over ailing units and turned them around with an amazing vision. Born in Calcutta in 1940, he completed his BCom, starting his career as a junior level employee in a steel foundry. He had spectacular growth to become its chief executive officer, and when he came across an opportunity to acquire a steel foundry in liquidation, the entrepreneurship in him came alive. Within a year of taking over the 6th steel foundry, leading from the front, ladies and gentlemen, he turned it around and made it profitable, and history was made. He never looked back, and with his hands-on approach, from one manufacturing unit in Titagarh, Barrackpore, he is now, ladies and gentlemen, the chairman of the Titagarh group of companies, including 3 factories in Italy and 1 in France. He has also served as the Sheriff of Calcutta in 1995. He was the Honorary Consul of Switzerland in Kolkata for 20 years. At present, he is a member of the Central Board of Trustees, Employee Provident Fund Organization. Ladies and gentlemen, CMA is proud to honor Mr. J.P. Chowdhury, Chairman, Titagarh Wagon Limited, the Lifetime Achievement Award, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, please a big hand for the amazing gentleman, Mr. J.P. Chowdhury. Sir, it's really an honor, and a small word. It's been lifetime. We'd just like you to speak your heart out today. Whatever you want to express in a couple of lines. Thank you, sir.
First of all, I would like to thank all the members, all the committee members and officials of CMA for giving me this opportunity to be present before this august audience. In your introduction, you forgot to mention that the first office, public office I held was president of CMA. So that was way back in 1966-67. And thereafter, God was kind. I tried my best. Circumstances also, although not so favorable, but we worked hard and things turned out well. So that gives me all the rest of the kudos. I would not like to want anything more from life, but I always feel that businessman, apart from whatever he is doing in his business, if he can do something for the general masses, something which helps the public at large, that will be a great thing. I had occasion to do some traffic planning at the time of Sri Jyoti Basu, did some garbage, Calcutta garbage treatment planning also I did. And that was probably more satisfying than heading CII or other organizations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, on to our final induction, I would say. This is truly a salute to an amazing person, and I'd like to call on stage the President of CMA, Mr. Ashok Kumar Banerjee, and also Mr. A.K. Sharma, Regional Manager Marketing and Zonal Manager East LICI, I would say Life Insurance Corporation of India. Sir, thank you so much. Thank you so much for presenting and being a part of this amazing event. It's truly been honorable. Ladies and gentlemen, all of us, I'm sure we all love superheroes, don't we? And the next person is no less than any one of them. She has 40 years of rich experience in India's financial sector, working across varied roles and diverse national and international locations. During her 4 years tenure as the first ever women chair of State Bank of India, a Fortune 500 company, she has stamped her imprint on the financial world, not just in India, but globally as well. In SBI, she headed the largest human resource department of banking industry, consisting of a workforce of over 200,000 plus employees, which includes 65,000 officers. Under her leadership, Global Finance magazine from the USA has adjudged State Bank of India as the best bank in India, the best trade finance providers in India, and the best sub-custodian. Forbes magazine has ranked her 25th in the list of the most powerful women in the world, and 5th as the most powerful women in finance category in 2016. Trust me, she's truly a superhero to a lot of people out there. She is truly a lady with a lot of power in all senses, ladies and gentlemen. And CMA is proud to induct Mrs. Arundhati Bhattacharya, former chairman, SBI, in the Management Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand, please. We request everybody to kindly give a standing ovation to ma'am. She truly, truly is an amazing personality. Ma'am, congratulations. You are truly a superhero, heroine, superwoman, Wonder Woman to a lot of people out there. At this moment, when you've gone through an amazing tenure, how is the feeling, you know, being inducted in the Management Hall of Fame? Plus, how's the feeling? Because you've been such a busy lady entire life. এখন তো অনেক টাইম আছে টাইম হতে পারে না okay so just tell us a little bit about it please, it'll be really wonderful.
First of all, my grateful thanks to the Calcutta Management Association,
Frankly, I still don't think I really deserve to be in that Hall of Fame. It's a little sort of, you know, above there. But thank you very much for considering me all the same. The journey actually has been quite amazing, starting from the fact that I started as a literature major and entered a bank, and then to have headed the largest bank in India, the first woman to head a Fortune 500 company out of India, and in an area that is traditionally very male-dominated. So it's been really quite amazing. The journey has been very interesting. I have learned hugely on the job, but more than anything else, you know, SBI is an organization where you make lifelong friends. And these people have stood by me through thick and thin, and obviously I remember all of them very much today, because without their support, without their help, without their teamwork, I don't think I would be here. But thank you all very much again. I'm truly honored.
Thank you, ma'am. I want you to stay on stage, and sirs, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, an amazing Wonder Woman with a beautiful heart. And, you know, on this occasion, I would like to call on Sumit Ray, our past president, to kindly join us on stage. And there's going to be a very special heart-to-heart leadership chat with ma'am and sir, brought to you by the Life Insurance Corporation of India. It's going to be an amazing moment of leadership. Ma'am, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jimmy. And ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big round of applause once again for Mrs. Arundhati Bhattacharya. And ma'am, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you. And while it's all about management, I can assure you that the questions I'm going to ask you are not going to be about finance. Because I think the financial world has a lot of questions. I have one question on the financial world.
Not on NPs, I hope.
But largely management. In fact, I think you have preempted the first question, because you said that you started way back in the 70s. And you were in a time when women really didn't join the professional world in India. So talking about gender, you know, today one's talking about gender equality, gender opportunities for equal pays all over the world. You did say it was a very male-dominated area, especially finance. So I think what we'd like to hear from you is, how did you manage to break this glass ceiling? And what were the, I think there are too many more men here today, I think far few women. So I think the men should hear, how is it and what is it that you did to break this glass ceiling to kind of reach where you were? What were the challenges? And we'd like you to be as honest as possible, because these are learnings that I want people to take back.
Sure. First of all, again, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak a few things and discuss what I learned in my journey. See, when we joined State Bank of India, why did I join State Bank, first of all? In those days, as you remember, you know, the opportunities in the private sector were few and far between. And you couldn't get those jobs unless you knew people. And my father, having been in a steel plant, he had no connections whatsoever. So if you needed a career, the two common things were those that you got through the Pan-India examinations, that is either the IAS or the banking exams. And I found, to my great disappointment, that in order to appear for the IAS examination, you needed postgraduate level knowledge in any subject other than a language. And unfortunately, I was studying English. So there was no way I could appear for the IAS unless I did a lot of different kinds of studies. So instead, I had a goal of being employed by the age of 21, because my father was retiring. He was in a PSU that didn't have a pension. So I decided that I'd take the banking exams. And in those days, actually speaking, you know, the exams had 3 papers. One was general knowledge, for which we just had a magazine called Competition Master.
Yes.
I think a lot of you all will remember that magazine. The younger generation doesn't know about it. So we studied the Competition Master. The second was English, for which obviously I didn't need so much of preparation. And the third one was logic. And I think, you know, what really helped me was the fact that I was at that point of time doing tuitions, because again, I didn't want to be a burden on my father. And I was teaching 2 girls. Now, as luck would have it, these 2 girls, one in class 5 and one in class 7, were, like many other girls, totally dud in maths. So what I used to do is, I used to do half an hour of mental maths with them every day, 5 days a week. Now, as a result, probably of that kind of exercise, my logic paper went very, very well. And obviously, I got this examination. I aced this examination. And you know, the reason why a lot of women have come up in banking is because during that time, post the nationalization of the banking industry, banks were expanding very quickly. They needed a lot of people. And all of them were recruited through these All India examinations, where, you know, the marks of your this written exam got added to your marks of your interview. And whoever got the maximum marks, they were the ones who were chosen. So there was no gender bias there. And because there was no gender bias, we found more and more women entering the banks. Also, probably, our parents thought that banks were quite safe. In fact, my mother thought that the only job we were supposed to do was count notes. So that being the case, you know, they were quite comfortable with us being inside a room and counting notes. So they had no other idea of what exactly I was doing. And in fact, it's not only my parents. My husband also tells me that he married me because he believed that bankers came home at 2. So he expected that, you know, I'd be home before he would come home, and I'd manage the home front very nicely and get paid a nice salary. So both of those 2 considerations were very much there. But anyway, I did join the bank. One thing that I find, you know, and I tell this to youngsters, and probably it's not required in this crowd of people who have already made their careers, but I keep telling them that it's very important to build a reputation quite early on in your career. Because even though I had scored the maximum in my group in Bengal, when it came to actually giving us postings, I did not get a posting in the credit wing, which was supposed to be the best in the bank. Everybody who wanted to go up needed to be in credit. I was not chosen for it. Now, I can't really blame them. It is possible they didn't choose me because I had a literature background. They might have thought, how on earth will she manage numbers? It's possible. So I give them the benefit of doubt that it was not because I was a woman, but because I had a literature background. But because of that, I realized that if I have to get there, I have to create a reputation whereby people will start asking for me when a posting comes up rather than the other way around. And therefore, you know, it's very important early on to create a reputation. If you have a good reputation, the advantage was I was in the same organization. So whenever something came up, my reputation would normally precede me. So to that extent, I started getting good postings. And that has definitely helped, you know, in getting me where I did get. The other thing I think that I tell everybody, and which I practice very much myself, is to keep learning. I think I had to do an enormous amount of learning. Coming from literature into finance itself was a huge, big leap. And I had to learn a large number of things. But not only going from one stream to another, but even within the bank, I managed, I think, almost something like 12 different sorts of jobs. So I was in retail, I was in corporate, I was in treasury, I was in HR, I was in investment banking. I set up new companies. Something, you know, very few bankers can tell you they have done. But I did set up the general insurance company for us. I set up the private equity fund. Again, nobody in the bank had done a private equity fund before that. So I got a lot of opportunities to do a variety of things. And I think all of the learnings that came my way, that really helped me in getting where I am. Besides that, of course, you know, you also need to be a little less, what should I say, serious about your own self. I remember, you know, that my mother used to always tell me, you must multitask. You know, you must multitask. That's the best way for a woman to get anywhere. You must multitask. So I used to ask her, what is multitasking? And then, you know, I was in this Kharagpur branch, and I'm a very short person. And in those days, we had these very thick ledgers. So as an accountant, the ledgers would come to me real fast, you know. One after the other, ledgers would keep coming, and I would do whatever I needed to, and I would keep putting it aside, and I would keep calling for these messengers who were supposed to take it from my table, but who were never there. So I used to keep yelling for them. Now, every 6 months, these messengers or the duties would be rotated. So the branch manager asked me, which messenger do you need? Now, out of the 16 messengers that we had, 10 had names of gods. You know, like Narayan and Madhav and Hare Krishna and stuff like that, 10 of them. So I told him, give me anyone with the name of a god. So he was very surprised. He said, why? So I said, I'm multitasking. I don't have time in this branch to take even God's name. But the way I keep shouting for them, God will understand I'm taking his name as well. So, you know, you have to sort of keep having some sense of remaining grounded, of a sense of humor, because even then, in spite of all the tensions that come on you, unless you can keep your cool in those situations, it's very difficult to get anywhere.
That was wonderful, ma'am. So coming back to the question, so did you feel, while you did talk about learning and moving from literature to finance and keeping your sense of humor, did you actually feel that there was a glass ceiling that you had to break? Was there that feeling? You talked about merit when you actually got in. As you progressed up, of course your reputation did precede you, but at any point of time in your career, did you feel that does this exist at all, or did you at all feel it?
See, there is always a doubt in people's minds that a woman will prioritize her family over work. Okay? And that is the doubt that makes them not want to give you...
Perhaps even more at your time.
Yeah,
much less
definitely.
today, perhaps.
Today, too, it is there, you know, and that's why what happens is the team leaders are often a little worried as to whether, if they take a woman, whether she'll be available at the critical time. So, you know, I keep telling my women colleagues that, you know, you should not be felt to be absent when you are absent. But when you are present, people must feel your presence. Now, what do I mean by that? When you are not able to be in that position, somebody or the other must be able to step in and do your work seamlessly so that nobody feels your absence. If people feel your absence, then it's going to be very difficult for you to manage both sides. And this is not only for office, it's also for home, mind you. Even in the home front, say suddenly somebody falls sick and you are not able to be there, there has to be somebody who will fill up that gap for you. Okay? So you need teamwork both on the home front as well as the office front. Similarly, when you are present, people must feel that you are present, meaning that you must make a contribution that is a little different, that is a little more. So, you know, you must make people feel your presence, but not feel your absence. If you can do that, I think, you know, if you can do that, then I think going up becomes easier. Glass ceiling wise, I would say that SBI is mainly a meritocracy. There were certain assignments for which they did not consider me. One such was in Calcutta, you know, which is the department that looks after the consolidation of the balance sheet. They told me that, you know, sometimes you have to work overnight with the auditors because, you know, the balance sheets have to be completed. So, you know, we felt you may not be able to do it. However, they forgot about all of that when they posted me into Eastern UP, and where I had to travel in the middle of the night, you know, to get anywhere. So I don't really think it was something very material that I felt. And again, as I said, if you are able to do the right things and build the right reputation, then probably you can overcome these.
You know, you've taken the next question away, ma'am, because being a woman, as you said, that it's not just the work and this perception that the woman will also have to take care of the home. Therefore, the support of the family, I'm sure, has been greatly played in your life. How did you manage balancing this, and how important is the role of family for a woman to make her career in India today?
See, the fact of the matter is, as it is, you know, a woman starts with a little bit of a handicap. There is no doubt about it, because even today in India, a woman is the primary caregiver. Now, if the family on top of that is not supportive, then that's a much bigger handicap. And you don't want more handicaps than you can handle. So obviously, you know, the family being supportive is hugely important. My husband, for instance, was in IIT Kharagpur. He stepped out of IIT Kharagpur mainly because I couldn't be in Kharagpur forever. Now that's a huge kind of support that he gave me. Not all families would be able to do that. Similarly, you know, I have been very fortunate in getting a caretaker who takes care of everything. She cooks the most heavenly Bengali food, so I don't have to bother about menu setting, I don't have to bother about the household at all. So I have a lot of support there. My daughter also, in spite of the many difficulties she's had, she's always been very clear about the fact that she wants me to work. Not only that, even, you know, when I was going abroad, and I needed somebody, my aunt came along in order to take care of my daughter. So yes, I have had a lot of support, but it's not only family members. It's even been friends, the spouses of colleagues. For instance, in Eastern UP, when I was there, when I was in Gorakhpur, suddenly I get a call that my daughter is having a lot of breathing difficulty. So I just called the spouse of one of my colleagues. She took her to hospital, stayed over for the night, made sure she was comfortable. So, you know, I am really very, very beholden to a lot of people who have helped me along the way. The only thing that I can say is, you know, you can create this by being kind, by, you know, helping people when they need a helping hand. And sometimes being kind is nothing, just giving a smile and, you know, asking how they are. That is sufficient. Because the fact of the matter is that if you are not kind to others, you can't expect kindness in return. But if you're kind even once to others, you will get 1,000,000 times more back. So I think that's very important, you know, to create that support system.
And the balance that goes
yes,
with it.
otherwise it's very difficult to manage both sides.
So you've been a role model to many young people today in India and definitely to women in India. Who were your role models, ma'am, as you moved along in your life, and who shaped or guided you, or were there any specific role models?
Well, you know, to tell you the truth, the women in our house are very strong women. My mother and aunt, in fact, have been, you know, I now believe that, you know, they are the ones who influenced my behavior. I started my life in a place called Bhilai. And when we went to Bhilai, I was a few months old. Bhilai was a barren piece of land with red gravel and nothing there. Even for eggs and potatoes, one had to go 80 kilometers away to Raipur to buy things. And I remember that, you know, there was a very small health center there. That's all the support there was in respect of medicine. And we had a neighbor, they used to live just opposite our house, and they had a son my brother's age and a daughter who was just a year younger to me. And we were all playmates, we were just growing up then. So I must have been 4 or 5 years old, and we were playing. Now, this little girl, suddenly she started falling sick. She had temperature, she wouldn't come out to play. And my mother was a little bit older than the rest of the women there because this was not my father's first job. And they used to come running to her to consult, ki kya kare, what is to be done. And the health center had no clue what was going on with her. So ultimately they said, no, you take her to Calcutta. And at that point of time, you know, the casting of the steel plant was going on, the blast furnaces was going on, and that means continuous casting for 72 hours and all. And they weren't being given leave. So ultimately they found, means our neighbor, he got leave. But very sadly, the day before they were to leave, this girl got taken very ill. And she came running, the girl's mother came running to my house, and my mother went. And within an hour or two, the little one passed away in my mother's lap. So all of us were terribly shell-shocked, you know, in that small place. We were so close to each other, absolutely shell-shocked. But I found about a month later that my mother wouldn't come to bed. Instead, till 2:33 in the night, the light would be on in the other room. So one of those nights, I remember I crept out of bed, I went to see what was keeping her. And I found her studying, you know, with thick books. So I was very nervous. I asked her, what are you doing? So she said, no, no, don't worry, I'm studying homeopathy. And because I couldn't understand, she said, look, you've got to help yourself. In this situation, there is no help, there is no medicine, medical help, but I will learn homeopathy and I will make sure that everybody is okay. And she went ahead and got, she was an intermediate passed, she got her medical certification in homeopathy, and till she died at the age of 90, 3 months, till 3 months before, she was dispensing medicine. And like, you know, we have always seen that these people, they've always helped themselves. My aunt, for instance, she didn't marry and she still lives with me. She's 89 years old. Even today, she reads books that are this thick. And she's taken up a peculiar hobby. And that is creating the paintings of houses with Word, with Microsoft Word. In fact, I wrote to Microsoft and they were so impressed. They wanted to come and give her a Microsoft 365 free, just as an award. So, you know, these women that I have had in my life, they have always shown the way that, you know, you have to help yourself. You are not a victim. If you try and help yourself, you will certainly be able to do something about it.
I think that calls for a round of applause. And if your mother has been your role model, I think nothing like it. It's the strength of a woman to a woman that makes a woman successful, no matter however much that men try and support. So coming back, when you look back in your life, ma'am, do you have any regrets, any things that you wish you had done differently, or?
Well, not really. Frankly speaking, to tell you the truth, I have enjoyed my stint at the bank. And I don't really believe that, you know, you can get up there unless you're enjoying what you're doing. So passion is very much required, and I think I have been more than rewarded for whatever I have been able to do. Regrets-wise, not much, excepting that, you know, I love going to places, traveling. I have not been able to do enough of it. My father was not a very great traveler. He was one, in fact, who never went anywhere other than Calcutta. So every 2 years we'd come to Calcutta and that's it. And all of the LFCs and all, you know, we never went around. And in fact, I used to do all kinds of strange things. For instance, when I was in college, for the short vacations, my hostel mates used to come to my house. And for the long vacations, I would go to their house. So I remember I was, that time I must have been about 15 years old when I was in college. And I was going to a friend's place in Meerut. So her father was a brigadier and was posted at Meerut cantonment, so I was going to go to her. So they told me, not a problem, you get into the train, get down at Delhi station, bus le lo, Meerut pahunch jaoge, bus station, we will be there. I and my mother will be there. So fine. In those days, there was this AC Deluxe Express. So I got onto the AC Deluxe Express, got down at Delhi and puche Meerut ka bus kahan? They said, yahan pe thodi hai. You have to go to the bus padao. So you go up, you'll find the road there, you'll find a bus there that will take you to the bus padao, and from there you go. So obviously somehow those days you didn't even have trolleys. So I lugged my kit bag and then went up the stairs, then got the bus. As I was getting down at the bus padao, one little young boy, you know, he came running, Didi, Didi, kahan jana hai? So I said, Meerut. Arey, Meerut ka bus chhoot raha hai, aiye karke. He picked up my bag and ran. So I thought he was going to run off with the bag. I ran right after him. So there was one bus that was coming out. So he banged at the rear of the bus and stopped it and put me through the rear door. I went up and then there was some seats at the rear, so I sat down over there. So the conductor came, I asked for Meerut tickets, he gave me Meerut tickets. I sat at the window and I was sort of, you know, drowsing away. And the bus kept stopping here, there. So after I think 3 or 4 stops, the bus came into another station and stopped. And I sort of woke up and then I looked out of the window and my friend and her mother was standing there. I didn't even know that was Meerut. So I somehow, you know, quickly caught hold of my bag and went out. And the first thing I did before I talked to them, I went to the front of the bus to see where it was going. And I found it was a bus for Hardwar. So those were the kinds of, you know, experiences and adventures that I used to do. So traveling is one thing that I love doing.
And you want to do it even more.
Yeah, so that's one thing. And the other thing, of course, you know, I've said this also a number of times, I wanted to do a PhD.
Yes, so
and in fact,
are you still pursuing that?
Yes, I'm trying to. And in fact, IIT Kharagpur almost allowed me, almost.
Almost?
Yes, when I was in Kharagpur, actually, the director over there, Professor K.L. Chopra, he was very supportive. He gave me a guide, everything. But then the Senate in Kharagpur felt that I didn't have the proper credentials to do a PhD in a subject in which I didn't have my postgraduate degree in. So they wanted me to stay in Kharagpur 6 months, pursue some courses, pass some exams, and then they would, otherwise they thought, you know, their standard could get lowered. So in any case, I couldn't allow their standard to get lowered, so I said, fine. But I couldn't stay in Kharagpur also for 6 weeks, you know, 6 months, and, you know, I'd have to take leave and things like that were difficult in those days. So ultimately didn't get to do it, but maybe now, I don't know, I'm trying to
We
see
wish you the
whether I
best.
can do that.
Well, one last question, ma'am. Thank you for being so honest with all your other answers. But as a banker, and I'm sure many of us in the room can't avoid but not ask you this question. Too many banks in India are in the news for the wrong reasons. And therefore, my question to you is very simple. Are these systemic errors? Are they human errors? Why are these things happening largely in a lot of banks today in India?
I think one thing you must understand, do not mix up the last PNB matter with the NPA matter. They're totally different.
Right.
The PNB matter is an operational risk failure. So operational risk failure is a failure which is definitely a failure of the systems and of the people. So it's not a failure of the fellow who did it, because he obviously did it with full knowledge, but it's a failure of the people who are checking on others' activities that they did not realize that such a big gap existed.
So it's human and systemic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the last one. But in respect of the NPAs, you must realize one thing, you know, and this is very often ignored. The fact of the matter is, from 2008, when this exuberance in lending happened, if you look at the amount of infrastructure that India has got, around the NPA today is around 10 to 12%. 10 to 12% of it has gone wrong. But 90% of it has come out correct. And that is why today, at least, you have airports where you don't hang your head in shame when you get down. You have power where the government is saying you have only 3% deficit. So to that extent, you know, you have ports which are world-class ports. You have even steel plants which actually are world-class plants. Today, India has become the second largest producer of steel. So the fact of the matter is, had these debts not been created or money not been given, India would not have been able to leapfrog to the extent that it has. However, we have gone wrong with 10 to 12% of whatever we did. And the reasons for that are multifold. The bankers, yes, I think we accepted projections that were very aggressive, and we should not have accepted it. But in those days, the GDP was at 8.5. Projection was that it would get to double digits, and that's what people believed. But you know, if you look at the others as well, multiple mistakes have been made. So even for the people who took the loans, they took it with the understanding that somehow or the other they'd be able to raise the equity, either from the market or from internal generations. Again, internal generations were poor because the GDP itself came down to half. In respect of the government, I do not think that they allocated risks properly. Risk allocation from the government side also needed proper understanding. If you are going to bid out a road with only 20% of your land acquired and the approval still not in place, there are too many risks. Those risks, if you put totally on the person who's going to build it and on the banks, then it's really not fair. Many of these risks the government has to mitigate because they are the ones who will procure the land. They are the ones who will give the approvals. So, you know, the way the risks were allocated were not done correctly. The projects were not prepared as they should have been prepared. And similarly also for the regulators. The regulators allowed us to lend for 30-year infrastructure with 10-year money. Now, if the loans can be repaid in 10 years, why do you want to give a 30-year concession? You should at the most give a 14-year concession. Why are you giving 30 years? You are giving 30 years because you know it cannot be repaid before 30 years. But there was no structure in the country to give a 30-year or a 25-year loan. Okay, so there were several mistakes that happened in the entire ecosystem because of which these things have happened. And I think, you know, what is really required is a deep dive within each of the stakeholders to determine what did we not do right, and then to ensure that going forward we don't make those mistakes again. That is, I think, very important.
Thank you very much. Ma'am, just one last thought. Going forward, having led one of the largest banks in India and globally one of the most famous banks from India, what is your vision for India in the next 5 to 10 years?
See, one thing that we must remember is that India at this point of time has a very positive dependency ratio, meaning the youngsters are actually supporting far fewer older people. Okay? So that is basically the demographic dividend that we have. But we must remember that this demographic dividend will turn in exactly 20 to 22 years' time. So in 22 years' time, India's dependency ratio is going to change. And if as a country, we have to become a developed country, that's all the time we have. We don't have time beyond that. So if that is the truth of the matter, we all need to work towards ensuring that this time is well spent. And if you look at India today, or anywhere in the world, if you look at it today, the biggest problem is the rate of change, evolution is happening much, much faster. So each of the cycles, you know, which used to take 10 years, went down to 5 years, to 2 years, to 1 year, now it's even months. So, you know, if you look at one of these mobiles, the moment it comes up, it's become backdated. The next one is already on the way. So, you know, if you look at technology, if you look at processes, all of these things are changing so, so fast. The only people who can really make their mark in such a situation is again people who are able to change fast enough and who are able to adapt and innovate. So, you know, Professor Roy was talking about innovation, education and innovation. I think one of the biggest thing we need to do in the next 3 or 4 years is to change the way that we are educating our people. Because our education was okay for the assembly line kind of situation. That no longer exists. Those are jobs that will get taken over by robots, whether you like it or not. What will not get taken over are those things which need the human element. And for that, essentially, the education that we are giving to our people needs to be very, very different. So I think, you know, in the next 5 to 6 years, we have to get our education right. We have to get our innovation and our entrepreneurial spirits right. And we have to ensure that the ease of business comes in that enables all of these.
And on that very positive note, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together once again for Mrs. Arundhati Bhattacharya, our CMA's inductee into the Management Hall of Fame. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much, ma'am, and over to you, Jimmy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, with that we come to an end of CMA Management Excellence Awards presented by Life Insurance Corporation in association with the Telegraph and Sterling Reserve Music CDs, radio partner 91.9 Friends FM, hospitality partner the HHI, cable TV partner City Cable. And of course, I'm sure some of us want our tanks filled up. The bar is open, ladies and gentlemen, and food is served. We request you all to all help yourselves, and a group photograph of all the awardees, please. Could we have the tables cleared, please? The chairs and table, please. A request for all the awardees, if you can come on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, why don't we give a big hand, all of them together on stage.
আপনার প্রিয় তারকার লেটেস্ট আপডেট জানতে সাবস্ক্রাইব করুন আমাদের চ্যানেল আর বেল বাটন ক্লিক করতে ভুলবেন না।